Picture this, you're at the most exclusive NBA after-party in Miami. The who's who of basketball royalty surrounds you. Then suddenly, the music stops. Conversations halt. All eyes turn to the VIP section where generations of NBA greatness are about to collide in the most explosive way possible. On one side, Magic Johnson, the Lakers legend, five-time champion and face of Showtime basketball. On the other, Jayson Tatum, the Celtics superstar carrying the weight of Boston's championship dreams on his shoulders. What happened next shocked everyone in that room and sent shockwaves through the entire NBA community. This wasn't your typical celebrity disagreement. This was a generational warfare erupting in real time, with phones recording every second and social media ready to explode. Within hours, #Tatum vs Magic was trending worldwide, and the NBA was dealing with its biggest off-court controversy of the year. Before we dive into this explosive story, I need to know, do you think veteran players have the right to critique today's stars? Or should they stay in their lane? Because what Magic said hit Tatum like a personal attack. The confrontation lasted less than 3 minutes, but the aftermath is still playing out. Tatum, known for being one of the most composed and professional players in the league, completely lost his cool in front of NBA royalty, celebrities, and unfortunately for him, multiple cameras. Magic Johnson, who's seen everything in his decades in basketball, later called it one of the most intense moments I've ever experienced off the court. But here's what the mainstream media isn't telling you. This wasn't spontaneous. Sources close to both camps reveal this tension had been building for months, and that Miami party was just the powder keg waiting to explode. Tonight, we're revealing the full story behind the confrontation that has the NBA world choosing sides. The setup, tension brewing for months. The seeds of this confrontation were planted long before that Miami party. To understand what happened, you need to know about the growing friction between NBA legends and today's superstars, a tension that's been simmering beneath the surface for years. Magic Johnson, as an NBA ambassador and TNT analyst, had been increasingly vocal about what he perceived as the softness of modern players. In interviews throughout the 2020-25 season, he made several pointed comments about load management, social media obsession, and the perceived lack of killer instinct in today's game. But his comments about Jayson Tatum specifically started after the Celtics' early playoff exit the previous season. On the jump, Magic had said, "Tatum's got all the talent in the world, but when it matters most, I don't see that Mamba mentality. I don't see someone willing to take over games when his team needs him." Those words stung Tatum deeply. Sources close to the Celtics star reveal he felt singled out by someone he'd grown up idolizing. Magic was his hero as a kid, one teammate told us anonymously. To hear that kind of criticism from someone you looked up to, that cuts different. Think about it. How would you react if your childhood hero publicly questioned your character and work ethic? Because for Tatum, this felt personal from day one. The tension escalated when Tatum had an incredible start to the 2020-25 season, averaging 29.8 points and leading the Celtics to the best record in the Eastern Conference. Yet Magic continued his criticism, this time focusing on Tatum's social media presence. These young players care more about their Instagram followers than their field goal percentage, Magic said during a Lakers pregame show. While he didn't mention Tatum by name, everyone knew who he was referring to. Tatum had just posted a viral workout video that garnered millions of views. The final straw came 2 weeks before the Miami party. During a podcast appearance, Magic was asked about the face of the NBA debate between Tatum, Luka Doncic, and others. His response was devastating. The face of the NBA needs to be someone who shows up in big moments consistently, someone who doesn't need load management or excuses. I'm still waiting to see if Tatum can be that guy. Tatum's camp was furious. His agent, Jeff Wexler, reportedly reached out to Magic's representatives requesting a private conversation to clear the air, but Magic's team never responded. By the time both men arrived at that Miami party, the stage was perfectly set for an explosion. What nobody expected was just how public and intense it would become. The party atmosphere and Magic's toast party itself was supposed to be a celebration of basketball excellence, hosted by a prominent Miami businessman and attended by current players, legends, celebrities, and media moguls. It was the kind of exclusive event where networking and respect were supposed to be the order of the evening. The guest list read like a Hall of Fame roster: Magic Johnson, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, several current Miami Heat players, and a handful of visiting stars including Jayson Tatum, who was in town for a game against the Heat. The VIP section was separated from the main party by velvet ropes and elevated platforms, creating an intimate space where basketball royalty could mingle away from the broader crowd. Crystal champagne flutes, premium cigars, and the soft glow of ambient lighting set the scene for what should have been an elegant evening. For the first 2 hours, everything proceeded smoothly. Tatum was seen laughing with Heat players, taking photos with fans, and even chatting cordially with other NBA legends in attendance. Magic was holding court near the bar, regaling younger players with stories from the Showtime Lakers era. Here's where it gets interesting. Witnesses say you could feel the tension when Magic and Tatum were in the same area. Have you ever been in a room where you just knew something was about to go down? The turning point came when the host asked Magic to give an impromptu toast. Magic, never one to shy away from the spotlight, grabbed a microphone and began what seemed like a harmless tribute to basketball greatness. To all the young stars here tonight, Magic began, his voice carrying that familiar charisma. You're living in the golden age of basketball. You've got all the resources, all the technology, all the advantages we never had. The crowd was nodding approvingly, raising their glasses in anticipation of an inspirational message. But then Magic's tone shifted slightly. Back in our day, we didn't have load management. We didn't have social media distractions. When the lights got brightest, we got brighter. That's what made champions. Multiple witnesses later described the moment as feeling like a record scratch. The subtle dig was unmistakable, and everyone's eyes immediately went to the younger players in the room, particularly Tatum. We played hurt, we played through adversity, and we never made excuses. Magic continued, seemingly oblivious to the growing tension. That's the championship mentality this league was built on. Tatum, who had been standing near the back of the VIP section, visibly stiffened, his jaw clenched, and according to one witness, he set down his drink with enough force that it caught the attention of nearby guests. The toast that was meant to inspire had just lit a fuse that was about to explode. The confrontation erupted. What happened next will go down as one of the most dramatic moments in NBA off-court history. As Magic concluded his toast to polite applause, Jayson Tatum didn't clap. Instead, he began walking purposefully toward the front of the VIP section, weaving through conversations and champagne servers. Witnesses describe an immediate shift in the room's energy. Conversations quieted as people sensed something was about to happen. Magic, still holding the microphone and basking in the aftermath of his speech, didn't see Tatum approaching until he was just a few feet away. "Excuse me, Magic," Tatum said, his voice carrying clearly across the now silent VIP area. "Can I talk to you for a second?" Magic, surprised but maintaining his signature smile, handed off the microphone and turned to face the young star. "Of course, young fella. What's on your mind? This is the moment of truth right here. If you were watching this unfold live, would you have started recording or tried to give them privacy? Because everyone in that room was about to become a witness to history. What Tatum said next shocked everyone present. "I need to ask you something, Magic. Do you think I haven't earned my place in this league? Do you think I'm here because of social media followers instead of basketball?" The directness of the question caught Magic off guard. His smile faltered for just a moment before he recovered. "Jayson, I've always said you're incredibly talented. That's not what I asked," Tatum interrupted, stepping closer. "For months, you've been taking shots at me specifically. Load management, social media, not showing up in big moments. I've been keeping track." The crowd was now completely silent. Phone cameras were discreetly being positioned as people realized they were witnessing something unprecedented. Magic tried to maintain his diplomatic composure. "Son, I critique all players. It's not personal. It's about pushing everyone to be their best. Don't call me son. Tatum cut him off, his voice rising slightly. I'm a grown man who's carried a franchise, made all-star teams, and led my team to the playoffs every year, and you've been disrespecting that work publicly. The tension in the room was palpable. Dwayne Wade, who had been nearby, started moving toward the confrontation, sensing it was escalating beyond a normal conversation. Magic's demeanor began to shift. The diplomatic smile was gone, replaced by something more serious. Jayson, if you can't handle criticism from someone who's been where you're trying to go, then maybe that proves my point about this generation. That response was like gasoline on a fire. Tatum's composure, which had been hanging by a thread, finally snapped completely. The explosion and chaos proves your point. Tatum's voice rose to a level that everyone in the VIP section could hear clearly. You want to talk about my generation? I've been playing against grown men since I was 19. I've carried a historic franchise through rebuilding years while you've been sitting on TV, talking about how soft we are. Magic, now visibly irritated by the public nature of the confrontation, stepped closer to Tatum. You want to do this here, in front of everyone? You've been doing this to me in front of everyone for months. Tatum shot back. The difference is, I'm saying it to your face. This is when witnesses say the situation became truly explosive. Magic, his legendary composure finally cracking, responded with words that cut deep. You know what, Jayson, when you win something, that matters. When you prove you can be the best player on a championship team, then we can have this conversation. That line right there, questioning if Tatum could be the best player on a championship team, was the nuclear option. Have you ever had someone question your capability at the thing you're most passionate about? Tatum's response was immediate and fierce. I've been to the finals. I've been the best player on playoff teams. What more do I need to prove to someone who played with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and James Worthy? You think that makes you better than players today? The crowd was now completely captivated by the verbal warfare unfolding before them. Security personnel were starting to position themselves nearby, though no one was quite sure how to handle a confrontation between two basketball legends. Magic fired back. It makes me someone who knows what championship mentality looks like. And standing here arguing with me at a party, isn't it? That's when Tatum completely lost it. He pointed directly at Magic and said loudly enough for the entire VIP section to hear. You've been trying to tear me down publicly for months, and when I call you out on it, somehow I'm the problem? That's exactly the kind of old-school politics that's holding this league back. The room erupted in shocked murmurs. Phones were now openly recording. Security began moving closer. And what happened next would be replayed on social media millions of times. The aftermath and Duluth confrontation reached its peak when Tatum made a move that nobody saw coming. Instead of walking away or escalating further, he did something that completely caught Magic off guard and stunned everyone watching. He extended his hand toward Magic. You know what? Tatum said, his voice still intense but controlled. I respect what you did for this game, but I'm not going to let you or anyone else make me feel like I don't belong here. If you want to keep criticizing me publicly, that's your choice. But don't expect me to smile and take it anymore. Magic, clearly caught off balance by the unexpected gesture, and Tatum's measured response, hesitated for a moment before shaking his hand, but the handshake was brief and tension-filled. That handshake moment was powerful because it showed maturity from Tatum, while still maintaining his stance. Do you think he handled that perfectly, or should he have done something different? What happened immediately after the handshake was pure chaos. The crowd erupted in confused applause, not sure whether they had just witnessed reconciliation or the end of a feud. Security finally stepped in, politely but firmly suggesting that both men might want to take some space. Within minutes, both Tatum and Magic had left the party through separate exits. But the damage was done. Videos from multiple angles were already circulating on social media, and by morning, the confrontation was front-page news across sports media. The immediate fallout was swift and divided. Tatum's supporters praised him for standing up for himself and his generation of players. Magic's defenders criticized Tatum for being disrespectful to a legend and choosing the wrong time. And place for the confrontation, LeBron James tweeted, "Sometimes you have to stand up for yourself and your peers. Respect to JT for speaking his truth." Meanwhile, Charles Barkley said on Inside the NBA, Tatum was out of line. "You don't challenge Magic Johnson at a party like that." The NBA itself tried to stay out of the controversy, but Commissioner Adam Silver eventually issued a statement calling for mutual respect between all generations of NBA players. 2 weeks later, both men appeared on separate podcasts addressing the incident. Magic called it a learning experience, while Tatum said he had no regrets about defending his generation. The confrontation had changed both of their public images forever. The Jayson Tatum versus Magic Johnson confrontation represents more than just a heated moment between two basketball stars. It perfectly encapsulates the generational divide that's been simmering in the NBA for years. The tension between old-school legends who believe their era was tougher and more competitive, and modern players who feel constantly criticized and undervalued. What made this confrontation so compelling wasn't just the drama, but how it revealed the human side of both men. Magic, the eternal diplomat and ambassador of the game, showed that even legends can be pushed too far. Tatum, typically reserved and professional, demonstrated that there's a limit to how much criticism anyone should be expected to absorb. Silently, the incident also highlighted a crucial question facing the NBA. How do we bridge the gap between generations of players? The league benefits from having legendary figures like Magic involved, but not at the expense of alienating current stars who are trying to build their own legacies. Looking back 3 months later, both men seem to have learned from the experience. Magic has been more measured in his criticism of young players, often balancing critiques with praise. Tatum has continued to let his play do the talking, leading the Celtics to one of their best seasons in recent memory. The confrontation also sparked a broader conversation about respect in sports media and how legends should approach critiquing current players. Many former players began reconsidering their approach to commentary, recognizing that public criticism can feel personal to athletes who grew up idolizing them. Perhaps most importantly, the incident showed that standing up for yourself doesn't always have to be destructive. Tatum's final gesture of extending his hand while maintaining his position created a template for how to handle conflict with dignity. Sometimes the most explosive moments teach us the most about character. What's your take on this whole situation? Team Tatum or Team Magic? Drop your thoughts below, smash that subscribe button, and let me know what other NBA drama you want me to break down next. The truth behind these moments is always more complex than the headlines suggest.